Do you guys think I should get a Wii U?
You can throw that in at the end.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
All right. Alrighty. Okay. Are we ready?
Yes. Me.
Actually, something did kind of come up there.
Welcome to Stretch Goal Cast, your podcast for the latest and up-and-coming crowdfunded video games via Kickstarter, early access, and more. I am Jared Wuerzburger.
I am Clinton Ma.
I am Remi Storms.
I'm Justin Nichols.
And what we usually do on this show, this is episode 2 of Stretch Goal Cast. What we like to do on this show is kind of take apart new and up-and-coming games. A lot of these are on Kickstarter or Steam Early Access, Indiegogo, and the like. Today we've got a pretty good selection of games for everybody. Universal Rush, which is something that's up-and-coming. We've got Novus Aeterno, A Long Night, and a couple extra when we get to our bonus round. What are we talking about first, guys?
Well, I think we can talk about Universe Rush first. That's first up on the list, so let's go with that, shall we?
Sure.
Universal Rush. Cool.
Alrighty, so Universe Rush is a Kickstarter campaign. It's pretty new. There are 21 days to go on this guy. Give you some basic stats on this project. They have 80 backers so far, and their funding goal is $100,000. They're at 1,805, so they have ways to go yet. And who's making this? It's this company called Kirkus Holding Incorporated. I think this is like their, as you might expect, their holding company, their legal entity. If you were to go and find them on the App Store, they do have a very small tech demo on the App Store. The company there is Rush Lab. So I guess the developer identity is Rush Lab, and they have a parent company called Kirkus Holding. All these guys here are pretty much unknown. They may have done stuff on other indie projects, but they don't really come from any. They don't come from the EA or they don't come from the traditional game publishing or game development community. So the game itself looks pretty interesting. They're going for a home world for the tablet market. So it's a real-time strategy game, and it's set in space. And the tech demo they have really doesn't show too much of what the gameplay could offer. It's basically camera controls where you pinch and spread and swipe to move the camera around. Then they have this attack sequence where this huge army of battleships comes in and starts attacking your base, and then you just sit there and watch it happen. Once in a while you'll tap a big sort of artillery cannon that fires off into space and hits something, and that's it. Then you have just general information about the Kickstarter campaign and please donate, etc., etc. The pitch video is pretty well done. They show it's pretty standard. They'll have a few people on the development team just talk about their passion about the project, what they're aiming to do, and they show various people testing the game and having big smiles on their face. And I think the game's got a lot of potential. I'm a sucker for space games, not so much in the real-time strategy area. I like more of the turn-based 4X, kind of like epic games. But this one seems like it's trying to... The scope seems about right, and it's very interesting to see how they pull it off. You don't see a lot of these type of games on the iPad or whatever, where it looks really nice. It looks, almost console quality graphics. And when's the last time you played a homeworld type game or something like Sins of a Solar Empire? This reminds me of Sins of a Solar Empire as well, which is another real-time strategy space game. So to me, they may have trouble funding the way they're going now with just $1,800 after 9 days or so. But I'm going to keep my eyes on this one. I might even back them. One thing to mention too is that their business model is free to play. I think. Actually, no, it's not free to play. But what they're offering you if you back is like a copy of the game when it's released, and they have a subscription model, which if you dig around in the comments and updates, they're planning on like a $1 to $2 per month subscription model, and this seems pretty unique to me. I don't find a lot of games for the iOS that have a subscription model like this, and it's going to be interesting to see how that's received and how that actually works out. And actually, to hear more details from the developers on how they plan to do that, whether they'll have different tiers of subscriptions and what you actually get by paying that sort of money each month. So yeah, that's Universe Rush in a nutshell. What do you guys think about this one?
Pass. I'm just kidding.
Pass?
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna have a tough time getting funded because it is a mobile game, and typically those don't do too hot on Kickstarter. And also, well, the guy mentions that they chose tablets because he feels like that's where the future of RTS type games is going. But I would say there's probably a lot of people who would not agree with that, and maybe even get angry with that statement. But yeah, I personally don't think that they'll hit that 100,000 goal. I'm not a betting man, but I don't know if I'd bet on this one.
You wouldn't put your chips there.
No.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Jared.
I guess I'm kind of surprised that they are only at this $1,800 like after 9 days. Anybody else think that? I mean, I guess they got 21 more days to go.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, I think it's because it's mobile. That's one issue. And then the other is what's unique about this game, really? It seems like it's just like typical. They didn't quite hype up like what makes this game super unique, I think, in the video.
I think it comes down to squeezing that Sins of a Solar Empire homeworld experience down into tablet form. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there hasn't really been anything like that yet. Most space games for the iPad, for example, will just go the standard route of you build a base and you lay down a building, and there'll be a little timer that shows up saying, okay, this thing will build in 5 seconds. You build the next version of it. Oh, this thing will build in 15 seconds, and so on and so forth until you build a really advanced building. You have to wait half a day for it to finish, or you feed it some special crystals and it gets completed instantly. Like that's sort of like the basic
Space
model
crystals.
of any sort of like strategy game now. It's sort of like this first gen sort of design that we're going to see go away fairly soon, or hopefully soon, since I think it's just the most boring thing ever. So they're trying to accelerate the evolution, I guess, of tablet-based games by saying, hey, well, we can have something like Sins of a Solar Empire or Homeworld on the tablet and have it multiplayer. I don't know if it's going to be massively multiplayer where they have a persistent world, but so far it just seems like it's going to be log in and you have your own base and fleet and you manage that. That's persistent and you can just go into battles or something. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of details on that, which is a little unfortunate, because that's going to be a big draw for people if they know it's going to be a persistent world. They'll be able to play with friends, make alliances, all that sort of stuff. But they might have none of that to keep the scope down and just have a very basic strategy game.
From what I'm reading on the actual Kickstarter page, they do throw around MMO a bit and talk about player
Okay.
cooperation and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely, and to be honest, yeah, the game looks interesting. Like the look of it is pretty good. I think, if you zoom in on a ship a bit, you can tell that okay, the graphics are not super awesome, but when you're watching a whole battle take place, kind of zoomed out a bit, it looks good.
I mean, it's still
Colorful.
mobile.
Yeah, exactly. And it's pretty colorful too. And it does seem fun just to be able to like pan around and move the camera, like by using gestures on a screen. So it does have that going for it.
So designed in Unity, but not going to be exported for PC, Mac, or Linux.
I
That
doubt
could
it.
be a stretch goal. They have a flexible approach to their stretch goals. If you were to go down on the page, they are going to leave it up to a community vote to see what kind of stretch goals they choose based on whether they reach that level of funding. And each of the stretch goal levels are separated by $20,000. So I guess they've picked their stretch goals that are relatively equal to one another. Their 4 planned stretch features are in-game alliances, achievements and rank system, localization to 2 additional languages, and PC, Mac, and browser versions, parentheses, enhanced. So I don't know if you could equate localization to something like porting to Mac, PC, and browser, but that's what they've done.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have, 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4 levels of stretch, starting at 100K up to 160K.
Yeah, I think like the issue here is sort of, people who would want this on PC or something probably aren't gonna put in any money into this until they think like, okay, they'll probably reach a stretch goal, but then they have to know like, wait, is this the stretch goal that's actually gonna be picked by the community or not? So it might be like a lot of people are just gonna wait to put in money once there's more money in it. But if everyone's doing that, then no one's gonna put any money into it, right?
Just a couple of things I had in mind when I started looking at this project is it's kind of interesting that they started this and they mentioned it's just like mainly for tablets and the phones and all that, which I think it's very interesting. But I'm also concerned that this type of games is mostly designed for PC and hardcore players, or for what I think. And it seems like they're just porting one of these games to a mobile device, and they're not really making it, let's say, easier to understand, because a lot of the people that play on mobile and tablets are, casual gamers, right? And they started with this model, which is monthly based. I don't know if it's going to be like the only way of playing it, but it seems to be a little bit tricky, I guess. To get people right away to sign up for. You have to be paying every month, which is if they have the free version and then that's like an extra that you can, monthly pay for something like cool things that don't break the game. Well, maybe that will work. But yeah, I'm a bit skeptical about it.
I'm glad to see though that there are more hardcore games coming to phones and tablets. But again, like the issue always is touch controls and how that kind of limits what you can do compared to a mouse and keyboard. Like especially for an RTS type of game, you got a lot of hotkey setups. With a touch screen, you're not really able to do that too well.
Yeah, good points, guys. I think you guys touch on a lot of the things that are holding this game back from a marketing standpoint, and it's evidence of why they're kind of going they have a really slow start right now. It's this. I think they could be barking up the wrong tree, as you guys suggest, right? It's the wrong market. People are not ready for this type of game, perhaps, on these devices. And even for someone like me who's on board with them already, I have a lot of questions, and it's not completely clear how they've outlined their feature set and everything on their page. So they do have to tidy that up and maybe change their pitch a bit to draw in more attention, for sure. And one last thing is that they are not very clear on whether all the funding money is going to go to developing iOS and Android or just iOS. It's a little bit unclear there. So they really need to kind of iron that stuff out.
That's true. Well, on
That's
the plus,
a big difference. Sorry, go ahead, Remi.
yeah, just on the plus side, I think they might be able to get their goal because there's a lot of fans of sci-fi RTSs and obviously space things. And for the images and videos that they have, you can tell that they've been working hard on it, and the look of it, it's pretty good. They've worked. I don't know if they mentioned it in the video how many months, but they're doing a pretty good job.
8 or 9 months, less than a year.
8 or 9 months.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing, I guess. That definitely will help because people love to be, check videos and see what they're actually doing. And speaking of space.
Speaking of space, I think Justin's going to take Novus Aeterno.
Novus Aeterno. I think that's how you say it. Anyways, it's one of those AE things. So this game is on Kickstarter, and it's going to be coming out on Steam eventually. Currently, they've already surpassed their goal, which was 75K. They're up to 157K right now, with still 14 days to go. So it looks like they've already hit a couple of their stretch goals. And so getting into a bit of the game, there's basically 4 pillars to the game. There's diplomacy, information, military, and economy. So this is, again, a space RTS MMO type of game. And diplomacy works in kind of how you choose who is a threat and who is a friendly. You can also do public statements, which is kind of cool. So if a certain player is trolling you a lot, you can actually post that on like a public statement. Other players might back up what you're saying, and then a lot of people might just like go and try and take out this player. That's kind of cool. Or you can also say good things like, hey, Remi Storms has really cheap weapons for sale in his marketplace, so check him out. There's also alliances. This is basically a guild. There's a 15-player max on that. You know that anyone in your alliance cannot harm you, so you can pretty much completely trust them, but they can resign from the alliance they're in. And then there's also coalitions, which is basically alliances working together to do specific tasks. Then the info, that's basically upgrading your technology. And the way that they do this is kind of interesting because it's all based on theories and experimenting. So you kind of have like a theory of what could be possible, and then as you kind of experiment with that theory, you develop or earn that technology and create it. And this means that certain players who just start might learn something and have researched technology and be able to build certain things that a more advanced player hasn't just experimented with yet or come across at all. And then that player can then sell stuff even if they're relatively new to a more advanced player. What else? We've got military, so basically combat. Currently, they've talked a bit about actually having ground soldiers, but I haven't seen any videos or gameplay of actual ground combat. It seems like so far it's all spaceships, big battles going on, and ships. Basically, you can go for more maneuverability or speed. and you can kind of go. Those are kind of like the min and max, but then you can go anywhere in between and kind of do a blend. There's no guns on the back side of ships, so it's kind of always a good strategy to try and attack the enemy from behind and hit them that way. So that way, you're dealing a lot of damage to them and they can't shoot at you back until they maneuver around. Economy. So, like most RTS games, you can mine materials and then use those materials to build ships, etc. Kind of a cool thing though is that you can have like one planet that's all about mining, and then you have to upload all your materials to a ship, then take that ship to another planet that might be your factory planet, and that's where you actually build all your ships and stuff there. Yeah, the game seems pretty ambitious. It's a big, MMO RTS game, persistent universe. Things will stick around. There can be, due to like having these alliances and giant coalitions, there can be some really major changes that happen throughout the game. Like there's going to be NPC factions, and a giant coalition might decide to just wipe out an NPC faction altogether, and then that'll just be gone from the game forever. Yeah, that's pretty much Novus Aeterno. Discuss.
Well, I gotta say the look of the game, the graphics that they show in the video, are just gorgeous, and the even the concept art that they have on their page that they use to decorate their funding goals and their stretch goals. I mean, it's just really well done. Who's making this game? Because it doesn't come across as like a small indie project, obviously.
It looks like it's Tail Studios, and it was basically started by this guy. In the video, you kind of see him. He talks about how, he was 16. He wanted to play a game like this, never could find one, and then decided, hey, I'll just try to get a team together and work on one. And eventually found enough people. Now there's like 25 guys all working full time. I'm not sure how they're really making money right now, but yeah, they're doing pretty well. And yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the way it looked on the planet surfaces in the video, but because it's all 2D right now, the plan is to actually make it 3D. And then they even mentioned like maybe being able to completely walk around in some ships. So you'd have like be able to go in first person and walk around. Probably not the entire ship, but the bridge of the ship. It looks pretty cool.
So we got another space RTS MMO kind of thing going on here.
Mm-hmm. But this one's on PC, and I think
PC.
And that's probably why it, hit its goal so quickly. Trying to think of how quick it did. I think it was just in the first few days. This is not a free-to-play game. There is a basic one-time purchase, and you can get that right now for $25. And
Nice.
that'll give you a Steam key. There was a $20 one, early bird deal, but that's all taken now. Sorry about that. There are some in-game purchases, but they emphasize that it's not pay to win. Of course, these do kind of give you some little benefits, but I don't think they give you that much. Basically, it says longer offline build queues. So this way, if you're not able to play as often, it kind of gives you a little leeway there. There's additional automated trade routes between your planets. It says this doesn't mean that they're any less vulnerable. Your trade routes can still get destroyed, but it's just less work if it's automated, right? And then what else? Prioritize offline AI defense and specific planets. So I'm not really sure what that means.
I have a quick question about it. Is there a demo or like an alpha or beta version that players can just go there and try, or even buy it right now, or we just have to rely on the videos?
I don't believe so. They do have quite a few videos. Yeah, like you don't get a whole lot of gameplay in their pitch video, but if you just scroll down, you will notice that they have a couple of videos. They're about 5 minutes each, talking about all those 4 kind of core tenets that I mentioned, and then you can actually go. And this is a pretty good sign. Is if you go on Twitch TV, or yeah, Twitch, they've got a couple of live streams where they talk and answer questions from the audience, and that's always a good sign when you know that they're taking questions and really want to get involved with people who are backing, interested. So there's, I think, 4 or maybe 5 videos, and they're each like 2 to 3 hours long. So if you really want to know more information about it, definitely check those out.
Yeah, awesome. So what do you guys think?
So you're gonna kick it?
Would you get it? Or?
Kick it to the curb? What's it gonna be?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to say I think it's interesting that we were able to find 2 very similar games, right, to discuss in a row. I think it draws contrast between the 2. Obviously, one is doing extremely well, and the other one is not really doing very well. Also, another thing I noticed was that as far as that's concerned, is a $35 model does not come with alpha access on Steam Early Access, so you're going to be waiting quite some time to play your game. But other than that, maybe that's the key to success, making people pay $75 to get alpha access. Obviously, the gameplay seems a little better. The marketing strategies they're using, including some of the materials they provide and interacting directly with the people who are back in this game is really helping them. But overall, I think it looks pretty decent. I think as just like Justin mentioned, the fact that this is a one-time fee and not a monthly subscription model. I think. What do you guys think? Do you think the industry's just done with subscription models? We're just it's free to play or pay for my game or bust or.
Well, WildStar is coming out, and that's going to be a subscription, but you can actually pay. You can buy subscription from other players with in-game money. So there's definitely still going to be, I think, some MMOs here and there that try out subscription. Maybe, like down the road they end up changing, kind of like if you look at Star Wars of the Old Republic, that MMO, that kind of changed its business model as time went on. It's definitely becoming less popular, though, subscription fees.
Definitely. I mean, WoW is the odd exception to the rule. As you said, WildStar is coming out. They have a sub-model. And Elder Scrolls Online, I think, is also going to be a monthly subscription.
Right.
We all know how that's going to work out with those 2 games and any other game that has a subscription model. After a year, it'll go free to play.
What do you think of...
What happens now?
What about EverQuest Next? Do you know what that's going to be?
Not really sure.
Oh.
I don't know. What about you other guys? You heard about EverQuest Next and how they're doing things? No?
We'll look it up later.
I do know that I don't know that, but I do know that whenever I play an MMO, I'm always I like to sit down early in the afternoon and I play for 15 hours straight, and sometimes I consider that a long night.
Ooh.
15 hours? Lightweight.
A long night. It sounds like a key to maybe switch themes. Well,
can I put in one more thing? Can I say one more thing? Sorry.
Definitely. Oh,
I just wanted to warn people about some of these stretch goals. Take a look at them for Novus Aeterno. They mentioned having different races in the game. A lot of those races will only appear if the stretch goals get met, as well as the 3D ship bridge. That's only if they reach 500k. I don't know if they'll get that far. Who knows? Maybe they'll still be able to put in certain things like that. But yeah, as always, keep a look on those stretch goals to see what probably won't end up being in the game.
So the verdict was like for everyone. What do you guys think? Will they make it or not?
They
Oh,
already
they made it. They made it.
Yeah.
I think how far will they go? I could see
Yeah.
them. I could see them getting up to
250.
definitely reaching. Yeah, I'd say
Yeah,
there's like a
sounds about right.
245K. They might
Mhm.
reach that.
Yeah, I mean they still have like 14
halfway
days, right, or
through,
something
man.
like that.
They're only halfway through, so
Mhm.
Yeah, they're
250 to 300, sure.
I don't know. I'm considering getting this. It could be fun to mess around. I don't know if I'm not a big RTS player, but the fact that I could play this with friends, because I always feel like since I don't play a lot of RTS, going in on like 1v1 matches, I'd kind of be really nervous. Just thinking of how like competitive like StarCraft is. But I think since this is kind of more open and I can just create an alliance with players and hang out with friends that way, it could be fun. So I'm considering it. I guess I'll talk with you guys if you want to get into it and other people as well.
Well, sounds
But this
good.
is getting a little long.
Yeah, we cannot use the
So-
same key, so it's time to switch to our third project or game. This one, sadly, is not a spacey game. Otherwise, we would have the space trifecta. But instead, we have a survival horror game called Long Night. And this game is made by, give me a second, Trickster Face. I believe it's a French team of developers. And basically, when I saw this project, I just had to put it in the list because it's a genre I really enjoy, and I feel like it's been suffering a lot lately, especially because I haven't played a good survival horror game in a long time. You could mention, I don't know, Resident Evil or things like that, but the new versions are nothing like a original survival horror. And these guys, that's what they're trying to do, or at least what they say in the website. They're pretty much going back to the roots of survival horror, in which you're an ordinary character, and I believe it's called Dave. And well, the story is that you go to this camp with your friends every year, and I'm not sure what happens because they only have a demo there. But it's pretty interesting because they actually make you feel like you are completely helpless. Like these games now, the new games, they just give you a ton of weapons, and just because they throw monsters or zombies, they just call themselves horror. But a couple of things I wanted to mention is that they try to go back to the roots, which is very important, and I really like that. In the demo, they have like 2 levels. One of them is it's mainly focused on the puzzle solving, which is kind of cool. It reminded me a lot of Resident Evil and Silent Hill and all that. A lot of players will like that. And the second one is more like you're trapped in a kind of a maze. It's like a warehouse with only a lighter, and that's your only item. And you just have to kind of sneak by this witch or monster or ghost. I'm not sure what it is. I think I hit all the points I wanted to mention. So what do you guys think if you had time to check it out?
Yeah, it definitely seems like they're fans of the good old Resident Evil games, and just like you, Remi, and they're kind of fed up with the way Capcom's been taking Resident Evil to become more of an action game. They want to bring back that very fear, scare. You're not a superhero type of character. You're just an ordinary person trying to survive, get by. So yeah, I think because of how much, I guess, hate there's been on the recent Resident Evil games, even though a lot of people still like them, and they're not that bad, it's just they have kind of changed their formula, and people want that original formula of the typical survival horror games, back in the the late 90s. The game, it also kind of looks like it was made in the late 90s a little bit.
You were going to mention that, yeah.
Yeah, not the most graphically, awesome, mind-blowing game. It looks okay though, and maybe that's their intention, is to make it look kind of like, an old Resident Evil game. I don't know. It kind of looks like it's made for the, PS2. It kind of looks like the type of graphics to me, at least right now. But again, like a lot of that stuff could change.
It's still a small team, right? So
Yeah.
one of the things they mentioned is that they really want to get the main element of a horror game is like to actually be scary.
Mm.
And even though graphics are, well, obviously pretty important in our time, they can't really focus 100% on just graphics and give you a crappy game, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, it's more about creating a good mood and atmosphere, I think. And I think, judging from the video and your excitement for it, they probably have got that going well.
I got a couple of jumps while playing it, so.
Oh yeah, nice.
No, really. Like, if you play the new Resident Evils or even the new Silent Hills, you don't get scared.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of disappointing for a horror game. This one gave me, they might be like cheap scares, like something jumps when you're not expecting it, but I actually enjoy that a lot. I'm sure they're going to go deep into the story and all that, but for now, if you download the demo, you can get a couple of good scares, like in the old days. So I'm not too worried about the graphics yet.
How long is the demo, Remi? How long did it take to finish?
As I mentioned, there are like 2 levels. One of them is pretty much you start in this log cabin. You're stuck and you have to, look through everything in those. I think there's only like 2 little rooms. You have to check the things, make solve like a couple of easy puzzles, escape the cabin, and then you find yourself in this kind of a predetermined path in the woods.
Yeah.
So they're pretty short, depending on how good you are on it. But I would say 5 minutes each level, probably.
Okay, it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Definitely looks interesting. Even though the graphics, as you guys mentioned, are a bit out of date. It's a small team, so we kind of give them a pass on that. But they're doing some good things with the lighting. Obviously using a lot of black, a lot of darkness, and then you have like a flashlight or a candle to illuminate your way, so they're kind of really playing with the shadows, which I think is really important. It's also going to come down to how good their sound design is. I think sound plays a huge role in these type of horror games.
I'm listening to the main theme song right now. They've got a couple songs out there you can listen to. It's nice.
I don't know if you guys played Amnesia, but that game was pretty creepy, and they did excellent things with their sound engineering and sound design. So that could make up a lot for some blocky graphics.
Oh yeah, like a lot of horror movies. Sound is really important, and same with games, probably even more important than what like the visuals of it.
So it's just $15 to get in on this game to get a copy. So it seems pretty fair.
It ends in 3 days.
Yeah, they already reached their goal, but I mean, there's still 3 days, and there's a couple of things they mentioned with the stretch goals. Like, I don't know if they will reach it in only 3 days. Like, if they make 15,000, they will get motion capture for better animation, apparently. Things like that. But at least I'm happy that the game is going to be made, just because they reached that first goal.
It's really sad that we're leaving. It's really sad that indie developers are the ones who are carrying the torch for these more classic style survival horror games. As you said, Resident Evil has sort of gone off the rails recently.
Dead Space, same thing. if you look
Dead
at that.
Space, the first Dead Space, I actually think was a pretty decent survival
Exactly.
horror. It kind of struck that good balance between action, but then all the other games afterwards. I mean, Dead Space 2 was pretty action focused, and I haven't played Dead Space 3 yet, but they added co-op to that one, and there was a big uproar about how it's just turned into
Yeah.
Gears of War, that sort of cover-based shooter.
Yep.
So it's good to see more of these games cropping up.
Yeah.
And even
I'm back in.
Yeah. Even if like you're hearing this and you want to fund this game, sometimes even if the Kickstarter campaign is over, if you go to their website, there's usually still ways via PayPal to, still get in on funding them and getting some of these rewards for it. I can't guarantee if they'll do that for Long Night, but I know a lot of other ones have that enabled.
Someone doesn't like horror games, yeah?
I don't think he's ever played. I've never seen him play a horror game.
I don't really play horror games a lot. I don't know why.
I'm scared.
You're scared, that's why.
I'm scared. No, I'm okay with admitting that I'm scared.
I should try I have Amnesia from a Humble Bundle. I should totally give that a try.
Try the first one
Yeah.
first, and then try the Machine for Pigs. They're both pretty good.
Yeah. I heard the second one's not quite as good, but
No, not as good, but
yeah. Different
still
team
good.
made it, I think. Yeah, the
Yep.
Chinese Room? The Chinese Room?
Chinese
right?
Room, yeah. The same
Yeah.
folks that did the other game you don't like, so.
Dear Esther.
Yeah.
you didn't
I-
like Dear Esther? We
love
did a full episode just on Dear Esther.
We could. The music,
We
too, was
could.
great.
Yeah, everything about that game was. There's a scene that is so shocking. I loved it, but.
Yeah.
If I want to go for a
Maybe in
walk, I'll
another
go
episode.
outside.
We're geeks. We don't do that.
Oh god.
All right,
It's
back
so
to
cool.
I want to make some commentary about Long Night real quick before we switch it off. But I guess that's a whole picture kind of thing for me. I know it is for quite a few of you. And I don't really mind the art style and what I've seen a little bit of the gameplay footage. I don't think it, I don't know. It's not maybe brand new and maybe this year's potential for like graphical performance, but I didn't think it looked horrible. But I guess what kind of bugged me is the music that they put up right away. And I'm not pretending to be Mozart or anything, but I don't know. I just saw a couple things or heard a couple things that I didn't really care for in the music, or I thought it could be slightly better. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a part of it for me. If I don't really like the music, it's a big thing for me. So
Cool. Would you back this?
I think I would. I mean, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to get in, right? It's pretty reasonably priced.
Yeah.
I think that they could have went lower. I really do. I don't you guys think maybe $10 Canadian?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Be.
And I think that they probably would have maybe done a little bit better, even though.
Well, they made it, and
They did.
I'm glad they're working on this because there's definitely an audience for it. Not me in particular, but I can still respect it.
Respect
Okay.
it from afar.
Long Night, I respect you.
But you won't be getting my monies.
Honeys.
Well, they will be getting my money.
Speaking of money, we're gonna try to. That was a horrible segue. I didn't even know where it was gonna go. I tried, and then I didn't even think it through before I started. So on to the speed round.
Yeah.
Bum 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 bum. What do
All
we
right.
have up for that?
Speed round is, I think this is going to be a true speed round, hopefully. The first game we have up in speed round is Chaosmos. Just really quick, this is a Kickstarter that has been funded. It's a board game, and I really don't want to say too much about it. They've hit their goal of $40,000. They're at $53,148, and they have 21 days to go. And it's a board game, so they've really struck a chord with people, obviously. It's made by a team from Los Angeles called Mirror Box Games. And I just want to say, if anyone out there who is planning their own board game or card game Kickstarter, just look at this campaign and study it. and learn from it, because I think it's pretty much the perfect campaign for pitching this type of game. The pitch video is excellent. It's well edited. It's slick. The people talking are very articulate and passionate. They have supplementary videos of let's play style, sort of like how to play the game, and everyone playing is like enthusiastic. They use all the tools available to them in the video format of explaining the game. So there'll be subtitles at various points to further expand on the rules that are being covered. They almost do a reality TV style with the Let's Play video, where someone will do a move and then they'll cut to them.
Oh, a talking head.
In a room. The room looks like a shoebox. It's like this weird angle, but they're talking to the camera and they're explaining more about the strategy that's going on in their head. It's like, Matt, played this, and then it shows Matt speaking to the camera in his private room saying, oh, I played this card because this and this, and I want to, screw this player over, so that's why, and they'll do that, throughout the whole video, and it's a really good style, I think. And then they've pretty much just done everything right. They've proven that they've taken their game around through the board game circuit, taken it to conventions, and rigorously play tested it with a bunch of people. They've gone to the trouble of actually printing the game out, gone to a proper printer and gotten the game nicely made. The game looks like it's already a finished product, and so yeah, it's just great. I think this is the way to go if you're ever going to pitch a board game on Kickstarter. So well done to them.
Me too. The artwork looks fantastic all around.
I should say one last thing, because it's unique to this game. It's a selling point. They have a really cool mechanic where you there may be like 10 planets on the game board, and each planet has an envelope associated with it. Inside the envelope are a bunch of cards. And so as you move your playing piece onto a planet, you pick up the envelope and see what's on that planet. And you can take cards and put those cards into your hands. You can also take a card or multiple cards from your hand and put it into the envelope, and you leave it for yourself or for another player on subsequent turns. So you can actually do some really cool things, like lay traps for people, or they have a card that's a vault, and you can put things inside the vault, and in order to access those cards, you need a key. So I think it's a mechanic that I've never seen before in other games, and it makes for a lot of interaction between players, and it seems like it's pretty fun from the looks of it. You can be really cutthroat, leave traps for people, or hide things from people by sticking them in a vault. And it's a really cool mechanic where you pick up the envelope, you don't know what's inside that envelope for that planet, and it's a surprise every time.
Surprise every time. Anybody else want to lay any commentary on that, guy, before we go to Skate 4D?
There's a top hat. Guy wears a top hat.
That's right.
It does look good.
Points for the top hat. Okay, well, if no one has any more comments on Chaosmos, I guess we'll move on to Skate 4D.
Get ready to be wowed, skate fans.
It's in stark contrast to Chaosmos. This is probably a template for how not to do a Kickstarter. And my voice is all dry now. My throat's all dry. There's a lot to say on this project, actually. I don't even know where to begin. So you have this guy, Albert Caceres. He's apparently he does machinima for the Skate series of games with EA. He's also an avid player. I guess there's a competitive scene with Skate, and I guess he's like a well-known player in that scene. He's not a skater. I thought this guy was a real pro skater, and he was, being
Poser.
a spokesperson for this game, but he's actually not. Where to begin? They have 16 backers so far. They've raised $538. Their funding goal is $500,000 dollars US. They have 25 days to go, and I can tell you right now they're not going to fund. There's no way in hell these guys fund. It's really amazing. It's astounding how out of touch on so many levels this campaign is. I mean, you start with the pitch video. I was watching this for like 2 minutes, and 2 minutes in, and it's this guy, Albert, just talking to the camera. He's just saying how excited he is. He's saying how excited the community is, how he's blessed. And it's like a Oscar acceptance speech for 2 minutes. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, first thing I want to say about this is that he really needs to cut to the point and actually say something about the game. And then I step away from the computer and I leave the video running, and I come back like 5 minutes later and he's still talking, and I'm like, well, wait a second, this pitch video is still playing. And I checked the progress bar on the video, and it's a 30-minute pitch video. And who does this? I skip ahead, say halfway into the video, and then they take away Albert's face, and it's just a static picture of the Skate 4D logo. And then he's on some Skype call with, I guess, his partner. And it's just like a private brainstorming session over Skype. It's very sort of not polished and very uncut, and it's just very
The audio quality.
drawn out and unnecessary. And it's like, my God, did they forget to edit this? Is this a mistake? And I dig deeper into this thing, and their aim is to get this game out for the Xbox One and PS4, and also do a port for 360 and PS3. No mention whatsoever on how they plan to navigate that release plan. It's not so straightforward to just work with those established publishers and those platform holders. When you're an unknown person, he has a connection, a tenuous, vague connection to someone who's worked on the previous Skate games, who I think currently works at EA in some capacity, but there's no mention of who that guy is. That guy should be on this pitch video, but he's not. Geez, what else? There's like a laundry list of ancillary features to the game, but nothing about the game, what makes it special. It's all this, like, it's got a day-night cycle, it's got technical tricks, it's got ability to turn off pedestrians, in-game money. It's like all this stuff that's so out of touch with like what a game. This is not a game. It's just stuff on top of a game. It's just things you expect in a game. And what else?
It doesn't even look like it's in 4D.
Oh man, that's another thing, Jared. He goes into this whole drawn-out explanation of how, for legal, reasons, they have to call it 4D. But then once they get picked up by EA, they'll just turn it to Skate 4. But until then, it's just 4D to avoid getting sued. Which, that inspires a ton of confidence in the team, of course.
I guess Kickstarter is a social platform. Everyone can post, and if maybe, guys, we'll come back next week and we'll look up Skate 4D, and it'll be just $500,000. Yeah, just way down there.
Hey, I could just completely eat my hat on this a week or two down the road. I'll be more than happy to do so. But at this point, I'm almost thinking they're not even intending to make a game. I think this is some social experiment. It's some thought experiment that they're conducting, and they're just trying to win a bet or something. It's like, oh, we can just put out this totally out of touch, way off base campaign, and we will get funded, or at least we'll make like $100,000.
How many suckers are there out there that we can?
I mean, you look, just a couple more things. I mean, you look at their pledge levels. They have $10, they have $25, $100, and they're all very like, oh, you got a pre-release version. And then from 100 they go right to 1,000, and that $1,000 level, there's nothing to it. It's like $100, you will receive a free copy of the game once it's available, along with a free poster and a Rise skating T-shirt. Thank you for your support. Rise Skating is this guy's YouTube channel. You go to $1,000. $1,000 plus, you'll receive all the rewards listed above, plus a personal thank you video from the team. Your name will be listed on the special thanks note printed on the inside disc leaflet. So for extra $900, you're getting a thank you video?
I think we've already seen the thank you video.
Zach, it's the pitch video.
Well, I mean, you know, it's a skater vibe. Go big or go home. So I think they got it down.
Yeah.
I'm stoked for this. I don't know about you guys. Sign me up. I gotta get
Take the
my
glasses off.
I gotta get my bro glasses on now. There we go.
Oh, anyway.
I don't know why there's so much hate. You're saying that it's just a static image when you scroll through, when clearly there's some color shades that vary in the pitch video on the static image, so it's not completely static. Let's just get that clear. No, it's awful. Yeah.
But do you know what else is in the static image? This.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Paka
that one.
Pets. Paka Pets. Am I the only one that had a Tamagotchi?
Of course not. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure a lot of people out there.
I had the camo one. It was awesome.
So we figured this could be a good topic for a quick, the quick. What's the name of our show again? Not the show.
This is the speed round.
I don't know if that's gonna be edited or not, but anyway, we thought it would be interesting to show this because it's pretty quick and apparently it's doing okay. It still has 24 days to go. And it's almost there. It's just missing a little bit over $5,000 of the $20,000 that they're asking, and it's just a very simple game. As Jared mentioned, if anyone had a Tamagotchi, it's pretty much that. It seems like it's Tamagotchi meets I don't know, maybe Pokemon, because in the video they show like depending on what you do with your pet, you can upgrade it or transform it into different versions, which is not like linear like in Pokemon. It's like depending what you do is the type of creature that you will get at the end. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know what you guys think, but I think it can make it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that they'll probably make it. They're looking pretty good right now, funding wise. I really like this, like, they have a duck that you see in the video, and it looks so derpy. And then I was like, wait, this kind of looks familiar. So then I searched like Tamagotchi, and the duck in like the Tamagotchi looks really just goofy looking too. Like, and so there's definitely a bit of a call out for sure in that duck design.
I also like it.
But
oh no, sorry. I was gonna mention that I like how the creatures are, pixel based, like in the old Tamagotchi as well.
Mm-hmm.
The background stuff, they are clearly just different style.
it's like vector, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's really smooth. Yeah, and
I kind of like that.
it works out well, yeah, because you always kind of want in a video game your character to pop from the environment a bit, and these two styles don't clash that much. Like, it works. I like it. And then the whole art direction with it, really cutesy, kind of chibi looking, I think is a good fit for it. It kind of has a bit of a adventure time feel to it. I'm looking, if you scroll down, you basically see Finn as like a castle. There's like this castle and it looks exactly like Finn. If you just scroll down past like all these little characters under gameplay and the Paca world. I don't know. Anyone else think that looks just like Finn from Adventure Time?
Oh, I see it now.
Yeah.
Look.
So that's good. Will I fund this though? I don't know.
I know you won't. Well, they have a monkey, so I already backed this project, but just
So
to get that monkey.
I guess my question is that it's $10. Okay, not a big deal, but it's kind of expensive for a mobile game. But it says that you're guaranteed an iOS or an Android copy of the game. But both platforms really don't handle giving copies of the game to a user outside of the market.
Oh, there
I guess you
there
can
have
get
been.
those, like special promo codes.
Mhm.
Maybe that's what they're talking about.
They have to, yeah. I backed, what's it called? Republic. I think that was actually the first Kickstarter project I ever funded, and that just came out. I haven't played it yet, but they did have some issues getting the
Mhm.
game out. So, I mean, it seems iffy. I ended up getting it. I have it, but there sometimes can be some difficulties in doing so.
I figured so.
But it is possible. And to
That's
know.
true.
I like how one of the characters is just a rock. It kind of reminds me of when I played Tamagotchi, and I got like a lame plant as my pet. I was like, a plant?
They have plants?
Yeah, there was. It was like a Venus flytrap. So it was kind of cool. I think at first I couldn't really tell what it was. It was just a plant. And I'm like, this is lame. But then it turned into like a cool Venus flytrap, so it worked out. But I like how one of them is just a rock with feet. And they evolve and stuff like that. That'll be cool.
Cool. Well, I think this has been yet another fun podcast. I really like having I've been having a blast.
Are we leaving out Ultimate Icebreaker game?
Well, we have been talking for an hour.
Ooh, I guess.
Doesn't
it's
mean
time
we
to
have
say
to.
goodbye.
We
Doesn't
could
mean
save
we
it
have
for another time.
We can talk about it now.
It's a Kickstarter one with there's
How many
a
days
pair
do we
of
have left?
boobs. There's a pair of boobs in the picture, so that's how you can find
How many
it.
days they got left on their
They still have
campaign?
27
You can always save it.
days.
Okay.
It's basically it just doesn't seem that good. I'm all for raunchy, indecent humor. I love that. But the game just kind of looks boring. You know, you roll a dice and move your pieces around the board, and there's goofy cards that involve strap-ons and other sexual goofiness. Yeah, I was just gonna kind of say like it wasn't that great.
They dropped the F-bomb a lot because the actual title is using the F-bomb in the title, but they spell it with the PH instead of the F.
Yeah.
So haha, that's real clever, isn't it? So yeah, I mean overall it's just very juvenile. They're going for that Cards Against Humanity money is my vibe from this game,
Hmm.
and they're not gonna get it because at least with Cards Against Humanity, they went whole hog on the I guess mature, touchy, inappropriate topics. And with this game, they're still sort of tiptoeing around. Their approach is like they're 12-year-old kids. They're just beginning to learn about this stuff, and they all think it's hilarious. And they're like, oh, you said the F word, and that's pushing the envelope. But and they even say that they're trying to be offer up some mature content with their board games, as you said, trying to make it racy or whatever, but it just comes across as just very like grade school level sex humor, and it's just way off the mark. And the game itself, they show a gameplay demo, and it's just like a very dated design too, and it's just like a battle game, and that has nothing to do with the sexual theme almost.
Hmm.
It's just it's weird. Just weird, man.
I mean, you at least get like a twister board in there or something, to
Yeah, I know. Twister.
Get some action.
Bring that back. Twister 4D.
yeah. Alrighty.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any closing remarks before we end this week's Stretch Goal cast?
Yeah, we have to give our email or something in case we have some fans out there that want to send, I don't know, hate mail, pictures, anything they want. Just send it to us.
Cool.
Yeah, and if anyone has ideas out there, let us know of like a Kickstarter project you think we should look into.
Yeah, happy to do it. Be fun.
And if you want Clinton to eat his hat, you know what project to support.
Yeah, that's right.
I think I'll just put $10 just to see him eating his hat.
It's a stretch goal.
It's a stretch goal, yeah.
He will do it on air. If it hits, he will do it on air.
Yeah, definitely. And
Awesome.
as usual, there's always a video of us after on YouTube, and I guess we'll put some descriptions of everything there.
Cool. Well, it's been a blast, and thanks everybody for listening.
Yep.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, everyone. See you all again.
Adios.